Beverly Hills Cop 4, aka Axel F, is the latest adventure following around Detroit cop Axel Foley, played of course by Eddie Murphy, now 3 decades since the last time we've left him off, and a lot has happened since then. But Axel is still the same loudmouth, risk-taking cop that he's always been. This time around, he's lured to Beverly Hills when his daughter has her life threatened by what appears to be a dirty cop with unlimited resources. I don't know why it took me as long as it did to finally get around to watching the movie. I went through the original trilogy of films for the very first time around 10 years ago, and I was really excited to see that they would be revisiting Eddie Murphy's breakout role and series, but honestly the movie came and went, and eventually I just kind of forgot all about it until now. Still, I feel like it's important to address the biggest question that was on everybody's mind. Was the film even necessary? Netflix has this thing about reviving long-dead franchises, and I'm caught between the extremes of, well, this was a great idea to do, and maybe Netflix is just trying to do this to bring in more viewership. We just saw it recently with Happy Gilmore 2. But thankfully, I don't think that it's that bad of an idea. I do think that both Eddie Murphy and the rest of the cast have wanted to jump back into their roles for years. So in this instance, Netflix helped facilitate that, but is it a good movie? Yes and no. While I've seen it said from both sides that the movie is a great return to form as well as a giant trash heap, I think that I understand the arguments on both sides, and both have valid points. Whenever you have a series this popular, you're going to have expectations for a lot of stuff, and nothing is ever going to match those expectations 100% of the time. Just look at the Star Wars fan base. They hate everything Star Wars related now. Same goes for Beverly Hills Cop, just not as grandiose as Star Wars. People want the comedy to be a certain way, for Eddie Murphy to have a certain chaotic energy about him. But it has been 30 years. The dude is older. He's not quite Harrison Ford level older, no, but he's not exactly the same guy that he used to be. And due to that, it's not going to be the same movie going in either. So you have to kind of take that under consideration. There's a bit of a grounded emotional core throughout this film in regards to Axel's estranged relationship with his daughter. And this was used far more than a simple gag. It was the actual meat and potatoes of the entire story. I think that this is both a really great thing as well as slightly problematic, because despite the estranged relationship being the heart of the film, I had some difficulty believing in his chemistry with his so-called daughter. And without the chemistry being top-notch, it's also going to be hard to believe the drama of the film. So you're kind of forced to fall back onto the comedy and the comedy alone anyway, which at times was fine. I did catch myself giggling and laughing in certain parts of the movie, but nothing was ever knee-slapping or laugh until you cry funny. It was just kinda funny, you know? Because a part of the comedy that worked so well for the series, in the past at least, really came down to the physicality. It was the things that were said, yes, but it was also Eddie Murphy's physical humor that was so bold and extravagant, it set his career on a path that would last for decades. The physicality in this film, probably due to his age, was not as boisterous. It was funny, and it was arguably some of the best that I've seen from Eddie Murphy in several years, but at the same time, I can't not compare it to the series that it came from. The actual plot of the film, dealing with dirty cops and drugs, it was fine. There wasn't very much about the storyline that struck me as very memorable or original. It felt pretty much thrown together haphazardly, but then again, most of the plots found throughout the series have been kind of similar, opting instead to focus more on the comedy angle and Axel's connection with the other characters in the film rather than the actual story. But funny enough, I do have a theory about the final film in the series, since they have confirmed that they're working on a 5th movie. The structure has always been the same, right? Axel's a Detroit cop. He takes a vacation to Beverly Hills to help solve some kind of crime, but he always goes back to Detroit. He's never been an actual Beverly Hills cop. The last movie should flip the script. In a final scene, have him return to Detroit, but not to live there. No. He'll say, I'm only here to help solve a crime. I'm actually a Beverly Hills cop. Boom! Roll credits. Yeah, yes, no. Anyways, I forgot to mention the music is back. That synthetic 80s music that is partially how the series is known. Given how the first film came out in the 80s, that music belonged in the film because that was just the style of the time. Here, it's just nostalgic, and I love it for that. Overall, I'm not sure I would say that the film is a full return to form, but it is really close. There's a natural passage of time, meaning it doesn't feel exactly the same, but it doesn't try too hard to be what it's not either. The balance it has is sufficient, and for the most part, I was just happy to see Eddie Murphy back in the role again. My end score is 71 out of 100 possible stars, which is just under my original score of the first film, which I gave 75%. Both Beverly Hills Cop 2 and 3 scored lower for me in the 60th percentile, making Axel F technically the second best, even if it doesn't share the same chaotic energy as the others. But maybe I'm wrong, guys. What did you think about Beverly Hills Cop 4 Axel F? Please leave your thoughts about that in the comment section down below. How would you rank this series? And as for YouTube, you guys know what to do. Hit the like, subscribe button, and bell to be notified when I come out with my next review, whenever and whatever that may be on. And until then, peace out.